Hello everybody, how are you doing? This is Check with Beck, Becky Miller, also with Beck's Closet. Today I'm going to bring some things to you that kind of hit me in the face yesterday on the holiday because it was Memorial Day, and a lot of things I had realized at one time of being an entrepreneur and working for yourself, and the road that I have traveled without looking back to see where I've come from. And it hit me really hard. It was like looking at yesterday right in front of me and me being today. So I saw yesterday in front of me, I mean feet away from me. So what had happened is I was at our private beach club that we belong to, and we were leaving at the end of the day. And there were a line of cars coming off of the Lovers Key Island. And in front of me was a lady, or a girl, I would say, a teenager, sitting in her van, or a young mother sitting in her van, and the third door had been crunched in with the molding strip gone. And she was on the phone. And here I am, I'm standing there, and I have my son, and I'm thinking, I remember those days working on a holiday and having my husband left with the kids, making the plans for the day of something that would be fun and exciting for them to do, because I'm gone all day working. That means I miss, if there was any, swimming activities, any barbecue festivities, anything I missed. So that was my slap in my face. It was like I was looking at myself on the other side. I was on the other side. I was no longer in that position anymore. And it's those little things that sometimes that we take for granted as an entrepreneur, to see how much drive and will we have to work our butt off to not be that yesterday. And so when I got home, I started to put down numbers, started to figure this out. And I'm like, how come nobody sees this? How come nobody realizes this? So I'm just going to write a few things on the board. These board days were like, oh my gosh, in my early days of marketing class, and this is what I did. I wrote on the board all the time. So I'm just gonna hypothetically guess that this girl had worked at $12 an hour, because that is the starting pay here in Southwest Florida. So if you're working at $12 an hour, and let's say your work day is 7 hours, not 8, 7 hours. Even though you think that you've clocked in and clocked out, it was 8 hours. That 1 hour, most likely you had to clock out for lunch, does not count. You only got paid for 7 hours. So now we're looking at, you worked for a 7-hour day at $12 an hour. Your daily pay is $84. Now this is before Uncle Sam gets to it. Now, all of this is before Uncle Sam gets to this. So you're making $84 in a day. Now, let's say you're working the full week. So that would be 35 hours a week, right? So you're working at 35 hours in a week. Now, if you take 35, divide it by 7, is what? Is 5. So that's, your 5 days. So 7 hours in a day is 35. I feel like a math teacher here. 7 hours a day is 30, 35 hours. But if you're making $12, a $12 an hour times a 7 hour week equals $84 an hour times, so let's look down here, 84 $84 for 1 hour. $84 for 1 hour, or $84 for 7 hours. Oops, that's so, oh my gosh. Where did it go? I've lost. My erase stuff. Okay, so $84 for a 7 hour work week times 5 is 420. Now let's say most people in the working world will have, they don't get paid weekly, they'll get paid every 2 weeks. So it's 35 hours times 2. So really all I did was take 420 and 420, add that up because that's your 2 weeks of pay, which will come down to $840. So to get this $840 down here, to get an $840 paycheck, if no taxes were taken out. That's not taxes being Uncle Sam has not touched this number yet. So at this time, this is $84 in one work day of 7 hours. Is how we started this. When we got to here, we took $84, right? $84, which is your day work pay that you get, times 5 equals $420 for 1 week of work. Now, if you work the next week exactly the same, like a lot, that's an $840 check without Uncle Sam getting to it yet. You had to work 70 hours to get this $840 check before Uncle Sam got it. As I was standing there. Now, of course, as I was standing there, I didn't figure all of this out that quick. I was looking at, okay, let's say, now for me, this doesn't seem far and doesn't seem out of reach. That's why when I see this over here, I'm like, how do they do that? How did I used to work like this and put all this energy into making somebody else rich? So let's just say I'm selling something and it's, $200. Well, it wouldn't take me 70 hours to sell 4 of those things. So if I have 200 times, let's say times 4 of sales. 4 sales is $800. That's only 4 sales to make the $800. I did not have to work 70 hours to make $800. I only had to sell 4 things. Now, it would be great but the world is not there on this side. If on this side you took your 70-hour week and you are to be a waitress or anything that is in sales, because sales is everything. You have to sell your husband. You have to sell your kids into doing chores. You have to constantly sell something to somebody to believe what you have, to take what you got. You have to sell. Everything is selling. If you think about it, everything is selling. So if you were to figure out your hours that you're spending per day, what your daily total will be by how much you're making. Start to break all of this down. You'll see what your bottom line is before Uncle Sam gets to it. Then when Uncle Sam gets to it, Florida's different. We don't have all these taxes. Other places can have as much as, I've seen, 7 to 8 kind of taxes taken out. It's crazy. It's just crazy and ridiculous. But if you start to, let's say, this waitress, if she started to keep track of how many plates of food she sold in a day. So if there is a family of 5 that comes in, and the head waitress is there, walks the family to the table, then a different person comes to the table. That person is your waitress for the day or the night. She takes your order, she brings you your drinks, but she is servicing you. That's a service. That's when she is earning value and you give a tip. That's because she is providing a service. So nowadays, as being an entrepreneur, I look at that side different. I used to sit on that side and say, well, she didn't do very good. I'm not going to give her anything. No, she's providing a service. Most likely why she has that attitude is because the service she provided, you didn't pay for. So you got to think here. You got to dig into this stuff. You got to think. So as a waitress, and she set you down, and there was 5 people. So 2 adults and 3 kids. Let's say if she made, she sold the plate of food and she got a certain percentage off of each plate of food. So, everybody's plate is different. Nobody gets the same thing and everybody's price is different. So it's just, if she keeps track of that and say she got a certain, 20% off of each single plate that she made, if you start to keep track of that and just keep that tallied up, you will find out that in a week, you're going to hit closer to this number in a less amount of time because you're providing a service. You're providing a service to people. I had realized that, and that's why I became an entrepreneur, is because I was taking all of my time and my energy into making somebody else richer, where somebody else could be on that boat drinking those margaritas and throwing that line in the water, enjoying the sunshine. So I said, why couldn't I do that? Everybody can. Everybody can do it. It's not hard, but if you start to look at your numbers like this, you'll realize that this side of the board is not going to get you anywhere, and you're never going to get ahead because the world is bypassing, the world is advancing, and you're never going to get there. You need to get on this side of the board to get where you and your family want to be. But this girl that I saw yesterday, I'm going to move out of the way. So this girl that I had seen yesterday that was in her van as I was crossing the street, I was really, really hit, and I was hit hard with, oh my gosh, I just remember that. It was like if I was looking at myself on the other side. Like if I could see myself years ago being, let's see, I would say even as far back as 3 years ago. It wasn't 10 years ago, 15 years ago, 3 years ago. 3 years ago, I had 4 different jobs. I had 2 regular jobs that I was working, through the day. And I would get done, and it wasn't working 6 hours at one, get off, and work 6 hours at another. The 2 jobs that I had, you only got paid for the time you were at those given spots. You clocked in when you were there, and you clocked out when you got out, when you were done. They didn't pay you drive time, but yet I would be driving. When I put it down, I'd leave my house, and I would be gone 12 to 13 hours a day. But I didn't get paid 12 to 13 hours a day. I got paid maybe a total of 6 hours a day because that was the time that I had put in. That was my energy. That was my work. I was paying time for money. I was giving somebody else my time, but yet I was in my head, oh, I'm out there for 13 hours a day. And if I'm working 13 hours a day, I should get this. No, this is what the employers are getting smart to and figuring out. You're spending more of your time getting nowhere than getting somewhere. I wish I could have talked to her. I wish I just could have talked to her, and I couldn't. I don't have anything for her to belong to. I don't do MLM. I don't care for MLM, and I don't really believe in that because it's still the same thing. You are working under somebody else. Somebody at the very top of the pyramid is getting they're getting your money. They're getting a percentage of what you're selling, whatever it is. If you get a team member on that team, they make a part of that. You know, you make a commission, but they're going to get a part of that, and they're going to keep getting a commission off of ever how many people are down their line. So it is hot here in Florida. Oh my goodness. So this is Becky Miller with Beck's Closet. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you kind of get some light out of this video. I hope you write down these numbers as I had wrote down these numbers, and I had just seen of, oh my gosh, all of the time, the wasted time that, you know, I had spent in that day of giving to somebody else. So here it was, whoever owned this restaurant, they were not busting their butt off on a holiday. They were out enjoying it. So what do you want to, which do you want to be? Do you want to be the person that enjoys your family, that gets to see your kids grow up? Or do you want to be the person that actually is working for somebody else and making somebody else's dreams come true? The choice is up to you. So take some action today, massive action. If you want that life on the other side, find how to do it. You can do it. Till next time, everybody, this is Becky Miller. Bye-bye, and have a great day.